Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to week 3 of the OGDL. This is my game against Nick19, coach of the Baltimore Buzzwoles. He's got a fucking terrifying team just because of his round 1 pick. Omni-Terra Gouging Fire. He also has Excadrill, T-Tar, Gengar, Azumarill, Uxie, Kilowattrel, Cryogonal, Excelgor, Stoutland, and Hisuian Decidueye. Just to recap over my team, because, refreshers are always good. I've got Omni-Terra, Annihilate, Palafin, Tinglu, Ninetales, Alola, Ferrothorn, Moltres, Latias, Mega Beedrill, Minior, and Komala. So I'm actually pretty, even with the Gouging Fire being like the most annoying and terrifying thing in the world to build for, besides what my next week opponent has after this, I actually feel pretty confident about this matchup. I think I beat Sand down pretty well with a combination of Palafin. Oh, bulk up Annihilate, which this is the wrong set, so give me 1 second. I actually have the wrong team pulled up. Alright, sorry about that, but yeah, between Annihilate, Palafin, and stuff like Beedrill, Tinglu to be able to take on his offensive threats. Ferrothorn is really good here defensively. I defensively and offensively think my pieces are pretty good into him. The biggest thing that could throw me for a loop and what I really expect to see in team building is the Gouging Fire to be Terra, Water, or Grass. Water or Grass is going to be a common type that I expect to see on a lot of my opponent's mons, just because Palafin plus Annihilate is pretty terrifying to build for, and you want to try and resist Jet Punch while also being able to take on the Annihilate. So, I think it's a pretty good combination in core. Is actually the Cryogonal. And the reason I'm kind of skeptical, I'm kind of expecting Cryogonal to show up is because if I bring Veil, he can get up Veil himself with the Cryogonal, then bring in the Gouging Fire and just set up Dragon Dances all over me, which is another reason I don't expect to see T-Tar. Besides the fact that I think T-Tar is a bit disastrous into me defensively, I think you kind of want Hail to be up in this game for your Cryogonal. And that is the main reason I actually left Ninetales on the bench, because otherwise I definitely would have brought it to this game. So I decided to leave that on the bench because Cryogonal is actually an issue. I've dealt with Veil on Cryo before to counter my Ninetaleses. So I've not my first rodeo. So yeah, getting right into it. Bulk up Palafin looks really good. I have speed for T-Tar and just the rest in HP after making Max Adamant. Could have switched around the EVs, doesn't really matter. The Jet Punch was just really nice to have and be really strong into something like Excadrill, Scarf Gengar, Kilowattrel, which I definitely expect to show up. The 6 I expect to see are Gouging Fire, Gengar, Azu, Uxie, Kilowattrel, Cryogonal. Gouging Fire, Gengar, Azu, Uxie, Cryogonal, and I expect to see Gouging, Gengar, Azu, Uxie, Kilowattrel, and Cryogonal. Although he could mix it up. He could bring an offensive T-Tar. He could bring Scarf Excadrill. Although like I said, I don't really expect to see the Sand Mons at all. 1 second. Oh my god, that was bad. I don't expect to see that. Of course, I'm gonna prep for everything, but I expect to see DD Gouging Fire, Veil Cryogonal, Specs Kilo or Scarf, probably, or defensive, I don't know, some kind of Kilowattrel set, Rocks Uxie, Protective Pads Azu, and Scarf or Specs Gengar. Those are the main things. I actually definitely expect to see Scarf Gengar in this game because he can trick the Tinglu and just be an overall nuisance. So, I don't really get coverage on Palafin for Azu. I was heavily considering Body Slam over Drain Punch, but I went with Drain Punch just to recover and be able to 1v1 stuff like DD Gouging Fire a lot easier. I'm going to get health back from Excadrill, so I don't have to Jet Punch into that if I bulk up on if I bulk up as it comes in, if I bulk up as he attacks, and then he SDs on the next turn expecting me to bulk up or something like that, I can Drain Punch and kill him, gain back some health. I don't know. It felt like a better slot. I felt like a better use of the slot. I didn't really think Flip Turn was that good in this game. So I just ended up going with Drain Punch. Ice Punch is obviously there for the Decidueye. And yeah, Punching Glove is because I don't need Protective Pads. I didn't really expect to see any helmets, but yeah, Punching Glove was just the best item to have there because it boosts all of my moves. So yeah. Next up, after Palafin, we've got the same Tinglu set as last week, except no HP investment. Or I don't even think I had HP investment last week. Either way, it's got more attack. It's got dual stab, it's got spikes and whirlwind. Throat chop is there over rumination. Throat chop is good, is a good secondary attack in this game. If I can spike and whirlwind around his team and just rack up damage on stuff like Gengar, and gouging fire if I get the boot, if the boots aren't there, or if I get them knocked off. No, I don't have knockoff on my Beedrill, so I don't have knockoff this game, but if it's not boots, basically. Or just rack up spike damage on a lot of what he would bring, like on Azu especially too, that would be really nice. Throat chop hits the Uxie and the Kilo in one go. I felt like it was much more beneficial because the Decidueye could come, but Whirlwind I think is enough deterrent for that, enough of a deterrence for that, and it's not like I can really touch it anyway with anything besides Zen Headbutt, and Zen Headbutt's only there for Decidueye if I bring it, so I decided that this was much better. I'm not going to over-prep for a mon that's probably not even going to show up. So, yeah, it's a max Fizdef Tinglu to deal with his sand guys just in case they come, and to take hits from Gouging Fire. And, yeah, even though I expect half the team to be floating like last week, spikes are still better than rocks, although I think I did bring rock. No, I didn't bring rocks on Ferrothorn, so this is my only hazard for this week. Next up, we have Annihilate. Terra Water, because I think, I mean, Terra Grass is likely on the GF, already using the fucking abbreviations, on the Gouging. But I think Terra Water still makes a good amount of sense because if he is Terra Water himself, he's not really going to have coverage for this. Every other type that I could think of bringing was like not as good as Water here. Water is like the best of a bunch of worlds. It resists Aqua Jet from Azu, so if he's Belly Drum, I can get a Rage Fist off and take an Aqua Jet, no problem. I was originally Assault Vest Terra Ground, which actually still looked pretty good, but because of the Gouging being the Terra type, that I expected to be something to hit Annihilate, or I'm sorry, something to resist Jet Punch, inherently that beat Terra Ground if I was like the Assault Vest set without Bulk Up. So I switched it to Bulk Up Protect, ran with the dual stab, kept the same spread, which was just outspeeding T-Tar, max HP, rest, and attack Adamant, because I didn't really expect to get Bulk Ups up. I expected more to hit with this thing and to like stall, like sand damage maybe, or, you know, just stall, basically, and get leftovers recovery. So maybe I could have, you know, gone with an attacking move over Bulk Up, but I decided in the end to not do that. And if this was normal, I also had normal on here at one point, but I just felt like that wasn't as good as Water into this game, because being able to resist Heat Crash from Gouging Fire can make a world of difference. So, yeah. And maybe coaxing the Kilowattrel to stay in and take a 50-50, which would make life a lot easier for stuff like my Moltres, and it would take a lot of pressure off Tinglu. So I just figured that was beneficial. Next we have Ferrothorn. It's Toxic Leech, Press Whip. Body Press was just kind of needed because if Drill comes in his SD with Sand up, and if Palafin's dead, I lose. So I needed a way to hit it. I'm Shoppleberry for Superpower on the Azu. This is my Azu switch in 100% of the time. I can poison it. Power Whip is guaranteed to do a shit ton of damage. It's not like he has a good grass resist, especially after the Gouging Terras. If it Terras into a water type, his Power Whip resists are Gengar, Excelgor, and Kilowattrel are 3 of them, so that's not good. Sap Sipper Azu, which is not a threat to the rest of my team, so I don't expect to see that, and then Decidueye, which I don't think is coming. So this just made a lot of sense. And then it's a lot of Fizdef to deal with Azu. I think it's enough to live a +6 superpower after rocks with the Choppel. Power Whip killed that, and then the rest in Spadef to help with stuff like Kilo and stuff like Gengar. So, except we have Beedrill. Does not switch into this at all. Drill Round's obviously there for the drill, and the Gengar in one slot, and then I kept X-Scissor on there because it's actually clickable into a lot of Mons. A lot of Mons being Gouging Fire if it's like Terra Water. Although Poison Jab was probably just better neutrally into his team. I also wanted to be able to hit and kill T-Tar without necessarily switching out. Because if he is like Tangaberry and he hits me on the way out with Pursuit as I U-turn, obviously I'll die. So X-Scissor is just good for that. And then finally we have a fully Fizdef Moltres because it checks Gouging if he doesn't have Stone Edge. It checks Excadrill if he doesn't have Rock Slide. And the main reason it's here is because if he leads with Excelgor, I want to be able to 1v1 that and prevent it from getting up too many hazards. I had Defog on over Wisp. I changed it out for Wisp in case he Terras with the Gouging at any point. So 10-minute team builder out of the way. Let me go ahead and pull up the replay because I forgot to do that. Here we are, week 3, against Nick19, and he brought kind of what I expected, except Sand instead of Cryo, and Yuxi. So I'm assuming the rocks are going to be on the T-Tar. I was really surprised to see Tyranitar in this game. I felt like my team just battered the shit out of it. And naturally to the point where everything that I've brought actually can handle it. I can burn it with the Moltres. Everything has a super effective move to hit it, so I'm kind of skeptical about what it could be. I'm assuming it's just going to get up rocks and exist to get up sand. And Drill is going to be relied on to break my team down. So I believe I'm going to lead with the Beedrill. Yeah, I'm going to lead with the Beedrill, expecting to see a Kilo lead. Because Kilo leads really well into, like, Palafin, because it's Baby Fin, can't touch it. Also, he's Terra Water Gouging Fire. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, Terra Water Gouging Fire, definitely a problem. It's resistant to Jet Punch and beats down Ting Lu, and, it's really good into my defensive core, especially if he has Stone Edge, but he actually compresses coverage into one slot by being Terra Water, so I actually am a really big fan of that bring, because it definitely hits Moltres super hard. So that was very nice forethought on his part. Anyway, Beedrill's going to lead off. He's going to lead with the Gengar, and I'm just going to go straight for the Drill Run. No holds barred, fucking dick-grabbing Pokemon on turn 1, as he reveals to be Sash, which, if he's leading with it, kind of makes sense. I expect to see a counter and a dead Beedrill, but I skipped turn and realized that I was at full health and he was down to his Sash. And he clicked Wisp and missed. So that really fucking sucks for him, because Beedrill absolutely threatens his team, and a burned Beedrill is setup fodder for the Gouging Fire. So that really sucks for him, because I'm going to be able to kill his Gengar scot-free turn 2, and I have a full health Beedrill that's not burned. Going to go into Ting Lu, because he doesn't really threaten me with much. If I force out the Azu, I can get some early chip on it with Ferrothorn, scout the set, see what it is, see if he's pads like I think he's going to be, or if he's banded, potentially. So out comes the Gouging, though. And I'm pretty much forced to Whirlwind immediately. Like, every time this is in against the Gouging, I have to suck up the Terra Blast, and I have to Whirlwind. But this coming out and forcing the Terra actually makes Ferrothorn a huge issue for him. Like, if I Power Whip, his switch-in is Kilo, and only Kilo at this point, because chip on Gouging is amazing for me. So I'm going to Whirlwind. He is going to get dragged into his Kilo, Speak of the Devil, and I'm going to use this opportunity to get up a Spike. Yeah, so I throw the Spike up. He comes back in with the Gouging. I have to Whirlwind again. That was a good play on his part. He's going to Terra Blast and chip me, which sucks, but necessary evil. Drill's going to get dragged, and I believe I click Earthquake here. Or no, I'm going to go into Moltres. The reason I go into Moltres is because I fully expected a spin or a Gouging play. And if I catch the Gouging and burn that thing, that's very good for me. That pretty much, like, eases up my entire plan. So I figured he could double into Kilowattrel, because Ting Lu in against Drill, I mean, Pharaoh or, the spin block on Annihilate or Moltres are all likely plays. And this just caught a lot of options for him. So that was a good play on his part. He's going to actually click the Thunder Wave and reveal that as I go for Wisp 2 turns in a row. I definitely should have not clicked Wisp like at all. That was just a really bad play in hindsight. I was hoping the Gouging would come out and I could catch that, but very heads up T-Bolt. And I'm going to go into Ting Lu as he catches me again. So 3 turns in a row he outplays me here and a U turns out. The T-Wave is a very nice info to have, because now I know 3 moves on his set. He's either Hurricane or Roost. He can't be both, obviously. And I'm leaning towards him being Hurricane because it just makes the most sense. You hit Annihilate. You chip Ting Lu semi-reliably. T-Wave makes sense, but I actually feel like it probably should have been Roost or Hurricane. So he kind of slot compressed himself. I'm going to just Whirlwind again, because if a DD goes up, I'm fucked. And I drag out the T-Tar, so I believe I go for Earthquake here. Just a heads-up play, because I expect him to get up his rocks. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to try and get rid of the T-Tar, as he knocks my lefties, which is very frustrating. And the weakness policy pops on this, so immediate reaction to that is sack Moltres. Get Moltres out there. He's probably going to go for Aqua Tail. I can't really stop that. And I don't want to risk like Ferrothorn coming in on a fighting move, as he actually does show the Brick Break. So he prepped for the Veil, and I actually get the Flame Body proc, which is huge. So here I just go ahead and I believe bring out my Annihilate, expecting a Rock move. as he actually just rock polishes up. So he was going to take that opportunity to set up in my Moltres' face. I definitely expected the rock move to come out. In hindsight, Annihilate was definitely a very, very risky play, because if he knocked my leftovers off, that could have been really bad long term. So he gets up the rock polish, and my game plan: protect as he takes one turn of burn, and then sack Moltres on the next. But as I go for the protect, Showdown does that tricky little round down thing it usually does, or that it always does, and he actually dies, and he finds him, and I find that he's in burn range. So that makes this turn a little more awkward, as I'm forced to sack the Moltres here on this turn, as I feel like U-turn is very likely to come out here, as he just T-waves. So either U-turn or T-wave, I thought were gonna come out. I was very scared of the U-turn because I would take more chip on Tinglu, and I'd be stuck in the position with the gouging again, or he'd go into Azu. Either way was not a good situation for me, so I just decided to try and sack the Moltres, and I'm going to be able to do that on the next turn as he Thunderbolts and kills it. So Moltres nets itself a kill with that Flame Body Burn, and it definitely saved my ass. Excadrill's going to come out. I'm going to click Poison Jab, and I figure, you know, it's a chance that he's Scarf. I could switch Tinglu in, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go for Drill One. You know, if I lose Beedrill, I lose Beedrill, and I do lose Beedrill because he's Scarf. So I really shouldn't have done that. I probably should have just gone and switched. I'm trying to scare him out with the Jet Punch, but it's pretty unlikely that he'll switch, even though I think he probably should. I can just go into Tinglu kind of scot-free. I was really hoping that I didn't want to risk Ferrothorn, you know, coming in on Gouging Fire. So I just decide Tinglu is the lesser of two evils to come in, as he goes for the Earthquake and only does fucking 20. So I click EQ. He doesn't have a good check to that. Killo's going to come in, but he can't really touch me. He's going to Roost, reveal that he literally cannot touch this Tinglu. Like, he can U-turn out, and that's it. So that is really good information to have as I go for the Whirlwind, trying to get Spike's damage off, and I drag out the Azu. So this forces Ferrothorn to come out. He could have easily taken advantage of that and gone Gouging, and if he did that, I was in a very tight spot. I would have probably had to have gone for the Leech Seed or the Power Whip. I definitely would have gone for the Power Whip in that situation. But Azu comes in, he clicks Play Rough, trying to get rid of my Tinglu because it's definitely really annoying for him. Killo comes out. I go for the Power Whip because I just want the Azu gone, basically. T-Waves my Pharaoh as I go for the Leech Seed, trying to, you know, heal up my friends. And expecting a Roost because of the health that he's out. This thing is pretty valuable late game, especially for the Annihilate. So I know I don't have the Terra in front of this thing with Annihilate, but he can still Thunderwave me, and that's annoying as fuck. So I bring out Tinglu, trying to get some Leech recovery on the next turn. I go for the Power Whip first, I guess. I forgot that I did that. But he gets put at a lower range of health. I figure he will Roost. In hindsight, obviously, it was a misstep clicking Power Whip in the first place. It puts him at a lower amount of HP, but that makes him more likely to U-turn and save this as a sack. Thankfully, he does double Roost. So I do get back that health, and I believe he does U-turn here, as he doesn't really have a safe Earthquake answer, as is evidenced by the fact that Excadrill comes out and dies, which is pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Unfortunately, I lose one of the mons that I can bulk up against with Annihilate, but I will definitely take that trade-off. And I guess Palafin too, but Excadrill is definitely his least valuable member right there. Gouging comes out, and obviously I know that it's Boots. I cannot afford to let this thing Dragon Dance. I have to keep spamming Whirlwind, and thankfully it works out. Killo hits the field, and I just click Earthquake. Like, I have no reason to not click Earthquake ever. The chip on the chip on the Gouging would be huge. It would be great for Annihilate. It would be great for Palafin. Any damage on that is good damage. So, yeah, I'm put in a position now where I just pretty much have to spam Whirlwind with my Tinglu no matter what happens, unless the Azu comes out. Lied. I lied to your face. He breaks. I trying to hit that Ferrothorn, but I need to sit here and I just need to Whirlwind. He could have caught me in a loop where he just switched Azu in until he's last mon Gouging Fire in front of the Tinglu. I probably would have been able to catch on to that eventually and go out into Palafin or Ferrothorn, but it was definitely a play he could have made. But Azu's going to get dragged out. I'm going to just sack Tinglu off as he decides to just take the kill rather than playing around with any sort of Gouging Fire play, trying to come in on Whirlwind spam. So I go into Annihilate because I can just bulk up in front of this thing as he goes for Play Rough, boosting my Rage Fist. And I definitely make a misplay here by protecting, although I don't really care if he's belly drum because I outspeed him anyway. Even if he's jet, obviously I swallow that and I get to rage fist him, as he does in fact show the belly drum here. So I did not expect this set at all, but here it is. So I get the lefties back and he actually doesn't go for jet for the chip, so I actually knock the Azu out. So Annihilate's looking pretty because it can definitely 1v1 the Gouging Fire right now, as the only way he can kill me is if he gets 5 scale shot crits. I get up a second bulk up to guarantee the Rage Fist to a KO. As he DDs again, Rage Fist comes out to 77, and I know I'm in safe condition unless... Just kidding, he doesn't do it. He does get 4 hits, but it's not enough, as Annihilate is going to, once again, prove its salt. I fucking love this thing with Omni Terror, dude. This mon is so fun. Like, this, you get so much freedom, and the opponent just has to, like, prep their ass off for it, especially with Veil support. I mean, I've brought the bulk up set literally every single week, but it's fun. This mon is really enjoyable. Next week I play Igpa Atinla, aka Nate, one of the pool mods. So I'm definitely looking forward to that game. He's got an Omniterra Sneasler, which is probably about as scary as Gouging Fire because it was the same price as Annihilate, so definitely underpriced. So yeah, good game to Nick. Gouging Fire is a fucking menace, and the Wisp Miss definitely set him back about 12 turns. Like it was huge. Definitely huge turn 1, losing out on that burn on that Beedrill. But that's Pokemon, I guess. You know, it happens to the best of us. So yeah, I'll see you all for the week 4 game. Thank you for watching and tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Later, Dink.